What's going on, everybody? Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. Market kicking off a short week, deep in the red. AMC green after an amazing weekend in the box office. I also want to talk about two different stories that are unfolding right in front of our eyes. I'm going to give you my opinion on it and how potentially this could be setting up for some great opportunities in the short term. I'm going to break everything down and also go through a couple of the plays that we had today because January is around the corner. And these small caps running hard is going to get hot. So I want you to prepare for it. Let's get right into it. All right, as you can see, entire market pretty flat today after gapping down. Russell 2000 did have a little bit of a comeback coming into close. As you can see here, where AMC falls under the Russell 2000, it was ahead of that actually in the green today, even though the Russell was down almost 2%, showing a lot of strength. Here was the headline, and I'm going to talk about this towards the end of the video. Like I said, give you my opinion, but I want you to remember this headline: stocks sink amid virus concerns. Okay, let's go over a couple of plays. This is one specific, SOPA. It was added to the Russell 2000. The news per se isn't very that strong when it's not like an S&P 500 being added to it. The chart was a little bit choppy. I told everybody to wait in order to 525 to get into it. And as soon as this opened, it was just multiple halt right away. I still held that support above that 680, as you can see right over here after the unhalt. And it was just a nice move pretty much all day long. As you can see, it almost looks like it might be trying to make a move after hours. Right now, as I'm making this video, was a phenomenal play. The next one that was great for us was Moderna. And I'm also going to touch base on this as we talk about AMC, because you have all these COVID concerns right now. Friday was a strong day. It gapped up, and as soon as it opened, it just sold off really hard all day long. I told everybody, look for that 308 once it breaks that support to take it down to about 300, as that would be a psychological level. It bounced off that and just continued all day long. It was a beautiful play. This is a little ironic, and this really got me thinking, because a lot of times when the market is pulling on COVID concerns, that's when you have Moderna running and continuing to run hard. And Moderna, when it does gap up, it does like to continue to run pretty much all day long, at least from my experience with this stock. And that is not what happened. Okay. Let's talk about AMC now. Spider-Man No Way Home, second biggest opening ever at US box office. Okay. This is ever. 260 million at theaters. It's a pandemic best, but the second of all time in North American box office right now, at a time when they thought theaters were dead. Right now. And this gets into what I was talking about with two different stories happening. Okay. So take a look, like I said, at this headline: stocks sink amid virus concerns. All right, let's talk about that for 1 second. I went to Lowe's, which is right next to my AMC movie theater. Saturday was probably about 11:30. All right, 12 noon. I had to get some stuff for the house with my son. And the parking lot, I should say, which obviously is right in front of the theaters, was absolutely packed. Something I haven't even seen on, a Friday night, Saturday night that I've taken my son, all right, to go see, a young kid's movie. Absolutely packed. All right. I watched football on Sunday. The stadiums were packed. Went out to dinner on a Sunday night. I went to an area where there's three separate restaurants. We walked in one, the wait was an hour. We walked in the other, wait was about a half hour. Still looked over just to see if potentially we might get a little bit less of a wait, especially with a 4-year-old. And like I said, you could see people even standing outside. And I'm up in Connecticut; it's a little bit chilly. My point behind this is you have all these articles and Main Street media coming out talking about the Omicron variant. You have the stock market and investors panicking because of what is happening with COVID, rising cases, hospitalization, deaths, and so forth. And while I'm not in the medical field. I've talked about this before. I'm not in the medical field, so I don't really, understand or pay that much close attention exactly how COVID can be affecting when it comes to that. Because like I said, I trade the stock market, so I look for how it is affecting the market, and it's pulling on the market. But in reality, we're not seeing, at least in the United States, or where I am in Connecticut, we're not seeing these lockdowns. Okay, we're not seeing these restrictions. Now, like I said, I'm in Connecticut, and the lockdowns, I feel, were a little bit stricter. We were one of the last ones to fully lift the restrictions. And like I said, theaters packed, stadiums packed, restaurants packed. People are going on about their business. They're still going through their everyday life, which just goes to show that one, the media could potentially be blowing this up as far as the investors and how people are relating this to the stock market. Like I said, I'm not in healthcare, okay? But this also gives us a great opportunity because stocks are being weighed down, even though the next time they have their earnings, their revenue is going to be factored into this. All right. And when you look at AMC, even that was green today, okay, it showed a second best. All right. A second best. And obviously they do have other, financial issues, company issues, and so forth. But it just goes to show that people want to get back to a normal life. You can't experience watching, a movie like Spider-Man, okay, or one that I can't wait to see, Top Gun. It was a favorite as a kid. I watched when I was like 5, 6 years old. You can't experience that in your house. Now, unless you have like a home theater and dumped a bunch of money, I got a nice 65-inch screen on my wall that I just cannot experience it. And it just goes to show that, even AMC today, even though it was green, it's getting pulled down by the entire market. If the market was gapping up 400, there was ease of COVID, all right, everything was good with the vaccine, vaccine news, your boosters, your so forth, everything, you would have seen AMC into the 32, 33. And that gets factored, okay? Everybody's always looking ahead of earnings and revenue and what you're able to do, what your top line is, as well as your bottom line. All right, so this is going to give us some great opportunities, not only on some of the high growth stocks that have been really hurting, some of the tech stocks too, because you didn't even see, some of the quote unquote, stay at home plays even getting a good, bounce today, even though you have these Omicron, fears and the fears of the, the variants inside the markets. But like I said, it's going to give us a great opportunity going forward. So guys, that is it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.